Good afternoon, and welcome to our annual Diversity and Inclusion Awards. I'm Johnny Aguirre, Associate Publisher for Missouri Lawyers Media. I'll be your host this afternoon, along with Jordan Yout, our editor. We are pleased and honored to host again this year such a special recognition event for Missouri's legal community. Its purpose is to honor the incredible work being done by so many to ensure our differences are celebrated to better accomplish the task at hand and the greater good. And because this is a virtual event, we encourage you to help us make this an interactive program today. We trust you will enjoy it. Today, let's socially engage and celebrate despite the distance between us. For those of you who follow us regularly, you know Missouri Lawyers Media works hard to provide you the information you can use in your practice. We are a media company built on innovation, and this afternoon you are joining us for our 6th Virtual Diversity and Inclusion Awards event. Thank you for taking the time to support our winners. For decades, we've recognized and celebrated the incredible legal work of Missouri attorneys. And this specific award comes at an important time in our history. Today, we honor those who are making positive change by embracing our differences, creating a better whole. And without the partnership of our sponsors today, and each of you, this event would not be possible. Our award sponsor this year is Mickus O'Toole. Our VIP sponsor is Lewis Rice, and our celebration sponsors are Dowd Bennett, Sandberg Phoenix, Stinson, Shook Hardy and Bacon, and Swanson, Martin, and Bell. Before we begin the individual honoree recognitions, it is my sincere privilege to introduce someone who doesn't just talk about diversity and inclusion. He and his firm embody the very definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Vincent Reese has served as the managing partner of Mickus O'Toole for the past 8 years. During this time, he has guided the firm through significant growth and change. In 2017, the firm embarked on a new 5-year strategic plan dedicated to increasing its commitment to diversity and inclusion, expanding its practice areas, and becoming one of the top mid-sized general practice law firms in Missouri. From 2017 to 2023, the firm more than doubled in size, grew its revenue by over 80%, and increased its revenue per attorney by 20%. Mickus O'Toole has been a minority-owned law firm since 2019 and is currently the largest minority-owned law firm in Missouri and one of the largest minority law firms in the Midwest. Ladies and gentlemen, Vincent Reese.
Hello, my name is Vince Reese, and I'm the managing partner of Mickus O'Toole. Mickus O'Toole is once again honored to sponsor the Missouri Lawyers Media Diversity and Inclusion Awards. As Missouri's largest minority-owned law firm, we greatly value the diversity that each of our employees brings to our firm, and we recognize the competitive advantage that our diversity provides to our clients. We know from experience that diverse and inclusive organizations are stronger, more creative, and deliver better results. So it is with great honor that we offer our congratulations to this year's honorees for their continued dedication to diversity in our profession. Thank you for all that you do, and please keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Vincent. Now I'm pleased to introduce and welcome Missouri Lawyers Media's editor, Jordan Yout, to share with you how today's honorees were selected, and then we will be moving into the awards portion of the program.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying our program so far. The individuals and firms we honor through this year's program were selected from scores of nominations. They represent the epitome of ongoing work and exceptional achievement to encourage positive change. They're dedicated to the profession of law to ensure it represents the many facets of human diversity and to the application of justice overall, regardless of our differences. The nominations we received highlighted work as varied as the legal professionals doing it, but all with a laser-focused mission on appreciating our differences through a creation of inclusion. In selecting these honorees, we looked at the commitment and impact they have had within their firms and organizations on ensuring diversity and inclusion of all humans, or in the equality of justice, regardless of our differences. So let's get started. It is now time to meet Missouri Lawyers Media's selections for the 2025 Diversity and Inclusion Awards. Their awards were delivered to them in the past few days. Let's meet them now.
And so what motivates me most is a deep desire to do good, to use the tools and the skills I have as an attorney, not just to serve clients well, but to serve justice in a broader sense. And for me, that means doing my part to help eliminate historic barriers to entry into our profession through mentorship, intentionality, and advocacy. Champion diversity and inclusion isn't just about representation. It's about equity. It's about dignity and a recognition that for far too long, far too many people have been shut out of our justice system and the profession, whether it be access to the courts for litigants or the lack of attorney retention and advancement. Ultimately, it's very important for me to leave the profession better than I found it, more inclusive, more just, and more representative. My North Star has always been to make a positive impact, and I am very fortunate to be in a position to do just that through my diversity and inclusion work.
Well, MacArthur has set the standard for a job for me in the last few years. I've been with MacArthur for 2 years now, and one thing I truly appreciate is that they value us as individuals, and they make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and the work that we do. Civil rights and human rights work is especially draining. And so it's really hard to do this work on a long-term scale without taking care of ourselves first. So we have to make sure that we're prioritizing mental health days, are just being flexible, understanding that we all have personal problems, or like lives outside of work that all plays in part into like how we make show up. So one thing I realized that MacArthur does is then they make sure that we are taken care of so that we can take care of our own clients.
I give back through my board service with Ron McDonald House Charities of Kansas City because my family needed the charity when our son was born. So I'm on the board to help families who were in similar situations like ours, who need services during the unimaginable times. I'm on the Jackson County Bar Association executive board because when I was in law school, there were members who came back to the law school, mentored me. I'm a first-generation American. I wouldn't be an attorney if it weren't for other professionals who served as mentors. So I love looking for those opportunities to get back to students who are interested in going to law school, learning more about law school, and being a resource. So I give back because it's my way of paying it forward.
For sure, it was my parents, and growing up, they were very much a part of the community and were involved in things like the school board, the library board, and other public entities that were there for the public good. And so that natural desire to be involved and do something good for the community grew from them. And then there have been a couple people in the more recent history that have inspired me, both of which were and are the executive director of nonprofit organizations that I'm involved in. One is Cheryl Whalen, who was the executive director of SAGE of Metro St. Louis, which is services and advocacy for GLBT elders, and the other's Katie Erker Lynch, who's currently serving as the ED.
Congratulations and well done. Let's meet our next group of winners.
So when I was a law student and a young attorney, I didn't really feel like there was a substantial amount of, people who had the same kind of background I had growing up in a Hispanic family in a poor community. And so for me, that is the goal that I think will always be my, Shangri-La, is helping build a legal community where first generation attorneys or minority attorneys feel like they see themselves represented when they look at the community as a whole, and when they look up the structures of the places where they're working, so that they feel seen, included, heard when they're young attorneys or just starting out on the path of attorneys, I think.
And I think that there's a lot more we can do outside of just recruiting. And I think it starts much, much earlier than just recruitment from law school. It starts from law firms taking the initiative for the outreach to go to high schools, colleges, community spaces, to really speak to students who have probably not thought about a legal career because they associate that career with maybe a homogenous group of people. So I think it's important to go and try to educate them early on to maybe spark their interest. So when they see people who look like them or act like them, behave like them, talk like them, when they see those people in these spaces, I think that they realize how important it is to perhaps try to be a part of the legal community. Outside of recruitment and getting educating them early on, I think it's also very important that once we have the diverse attorneys, to be able to keep them, right? So retention is very important. It's important to give them intentional mentorship, giving them more opportunities once they are within the law firm.
I think some of the things that lawyers should and could be doing is having more diverse practices. And I believe that that's not just the type of area of law that we're practicing in. That means also looking at the type of clients that we have and the types of causes of actions and the people that we are advocating for. I think as an attorney, you have to remember that you are the voice for the voiceless. You are working with some of the most vulnerable communities. So I would encourage attorneys working with more diverse communities and working with trying to promote diversity is wear a lot of hats. You are at times a lawyer, you are at times a social worker, you are sometimes a counselor. And I think that being able to wear all of those hats and remember that we are the voice for the voiceless and we are here to help vulnerable communities, I think that's the best way that we can promote diversity in our practice. And I believe that by really being client focused, you can be a really great legal advocate.
I think the community is what motivates me most. Missouri Kansas Career Law is my law firm, and we started the firm because we saw a need for LGBTQ individuals in Kansas and Missouri to have representation where it matters, and from an informed perspective. And I've gotten to learn a lot of stories of the folks that we get to help, and I've seen a lot of gratitude for our services and for being able to represent folks who don't feel confident in representing themselves in the legal system, which is really scary.
Congratulations to each of our winners. Let's meet our next group of honorees.
I am most proud of my legal practice because I am a Black woman in the legal field, and we are very largely underrepresented. I know that Black attorneys make up less than 5% of attorneys in the U.S., and so I'm proud to be able to have a voice in this field, to have a seat at the table, to be able to bring different experiences, different perspectives as I'm engaging with coworkers in the legal profession. I'm proud of this as well because I'm able to reach clients who have a desire to work with a Black attorney. I have people reaching out to me who say that, they want to work with someone who looks like them or who may have a greater understanding of where they're coming from, who may have an understanding of their background, who they feel comfortable with. And I think that offering clients that validation by being able to, give them what they desire in an attorney it makes me proud, and it's very rewarding, and it makes the hard work that we all go through as attorneys and entering this profession, it makes it a little bit, makes it more worthwhile.
It may be a little difficult to answer because it's always hard to determine where most people know me from, but I will take a guess and say that most people may not be aware that I am originally from Bermuda. I moved here to St. Louis by way of Nashville, Tennessee, where I attended undergrad and graduate school at Tennessee State University, and I came to St. Louis to attend St. Louis University School of Law. Diverse teams make better teams for a lot of reasons. I think having people of different backgrounds, different experiences, different communication styles, different generations, different expertise
creates a team that's able to take a comprehensive and well-rounded approach to things. And so at its core, I think diverse teams make better teams. I also have done a lot of work over time as an attorney of color with affinity associations, whether they're in college or in high school pipeline programs. And something that I've seen particularly among the Hispanic population is a lack of interest in law or a lack of opportunity to get into law. And it really drives me to figure out how we can be effective at closing those gaps. I think that in my career, I've transitioned a lot. When I started as a lawyer, I wanted to be irreplaceable to clients, irreplaceable to the partners that I worked with, irreplaceable to my law firm. And I still do. I still want to serve a critical function and do things that people think are important.
For us, I'm incredibly proud of the team we built here at the firm. Our practice is very collaborative. And every one of our team members, from attorneys to support staff, even our file room clerks, we will loop them in with questions about, our cases to get their viewpoints on particular fact patterns. It's because everyone comes with their own particular background, experience, culture, and those viewpoints are important to us in assessing cases and helping assess matters for our clients and giving them the best advice.
Let's meet some more very special individuals.
I appreciate that question, David. I think that one thing we must do is to continue to provide access to our justice system. And I think one way that we do that is by allowing the younger people to have exposure to our justice system. In particular, those groups or subset of groups of people that may not actually have access to it. Those people that may not have family members that are attorneys. And I think that one way by doing that is by starting in our high schools, starting in our middle schools, and then that will matriculate once they get to college. And then if they, have an interest there, then they will go on to law school. But I think that if we allow ourselves to get into those schools and in the lives of those kids while they're younger and get them exposed, it will allow the diversity to increase. And we're talking about whether it may be race, we're talking about sexual orientation, etc. But I think that by seeing us and by seeing what we do with respect to us as practicing attorneys, and candidly, even those that help us out, right? Like our paralegals, our assistants, they all have jobs that may not be as glorified, but they're all part of what we do, and they all do things that allow, folks that if they see it, it will allow them to have an interest to it. And I think that will increase the diversity numbers in the justice system that we have.
Husch Blackwell has been and remains committed to the important work of diversity and inclusion, removing barriers to success and creating an environment where all of our talented lawyers and business professionals can do their best work. We know, and the data shows, that diverse teams, inclusively led, produce better results for our clients and our colleagues. Putting this approach into action has made a tremendous impact. Engagement surveys of our people confirm that they see diversity of perspectives and thought as a huge benefit, an asset to our firm, a highlight of their experience, and a key driver of their engagement on behalf of our clients. Diversity and inclusion remain a key part of Husch Blackwell's long-term success strategy and how we do business.
I would say that one of the things that I've seen in my career, as well as being the president of the Hispanic Bar Association, is the need for offering legal services to those who are underprivileged or from diverse backgrounds. I've seen that a lot of the times people from diverse backgrounds don't know exactly where to get the legal services that they need. So that's something that we are working on. And for me personally, having my own law firm, I would say that we want to grow the law firm so that we can be able to offer more legal services on the immigration landscape, which is what we do, to those who are diverse and underserved. Because that's one thing that, we don't have currently the capacity for, since we're 3 attorneys. But as we grow, we're able to then offer more of those services at a reduced rate to those clients. And that's something that we are working on all the time as part of the Hispanic Bar Association.
I think Missouri law firms are doing a good job when it comes to recruitment. They're doing a good job in continuing to improve in identifying diverse and inclusive talent. I think the areas where I think law firms can improve upon is when it comes to retention and promotion. So more of the long-term the long-term careers of those attorneys. I think, as we all know, in the legal profession, there's a lot of challenges generally for everybody, but some particular challenges that attorneys that have a diverse background face. And I think looking for those opportunities to meet those challenges and provide resources and support that can help with retention and promotion. So, being promoted from junior associate to hopefully one day being an equity partner.
One of the major groups I'm with is Psychotherapy St. Louis, which is a nonprofit group here that is designed to help with networking among St. Louis clinicians, as well as giving them access to continuing education, as well as just social connection due to the nature of our work and a lot of the members being independent practitioners. I'm also a part of the Mental Health Practitioners Equity Alliance, which is focused at helping advocate and kind of leverage power between clinicians and the certain institutions and insurance companies that we engage in. So helping do a lot of psychoeducation, a lot of legal education, as well as just advocacy within that. And then I'm also the owner of a counseling practice, Sonder Counseling here in St. Louis. And we work to collaborate a lot between clients there, as well as the law firm, to help with things like name changes, gender marker changes, estate planning, those sort of things that they may not have access to otherwise.
Cyrus Dashtaki is a Missouri trial lawyer who has dedicated his career to advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion through civil rights litigation. Dashtaki focuses his practice on employment discrimination, civil rights cases, and accessibility law. Throughout his career, Dashtaki has advocated for individuals facing employment discrimination, public accommodation discrimination, and serious personal injury matters. He handles cases in state and federal courts and before administrative bodies, including the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the Missouri Commission on Human Rights. He serves on the Missouri Bar's Subcommittee for Labor and Employment Law and is an active member of the National Employment Lawyers Association St. Louis and the Missouri Association of Trial Attorneys. Dashtaki explained, "I feel accountable not only to my clients, but to my community, knowing that my advocacy can help make the legal system more inclusive, equitable, and just."
Cheers to all our winners. And now I'd like to turn the program back over to Johnny Aguirre for some closing remarks.
Congratulations again to all of this afternoon's honorees, and thanks to each of you for joining us virtually to celebrate the accomplishments of these honorees for our Diversity and Inclusion Awards. I'd like to once again thank our award sponsor, Mickus O'Toole, our VIP sponsor, Lewis Rice, and our celebration sponsors, Dow Bennett, Sandberg Phoenix, Stinson, Schuckarty and Bacon, and Swanson, Martin, and Bell. This event is possible because of your incredible support. Visit MoLawyersMedia.com to watch this event again and to learn more about all of today's honorees. Again, none of this would be possible without the support of so many. And I thank each of you for your attendance and generosity of time as we celebrate this recognition. Thank you for your time. You're so privileged to honor so many this afternoon. We truly appreciate the work you do each day. Congratulations to our honorees. Keep moving us all forward and be safe and healthy, everyone. We will see you again soon. Thank you.